That other thing you said about being hard on yourself, boy, that's so true. Because when you learn these things, you're like, all right, this is how I have to be now. This is the perfect way to be. I got to be that way. And then when you fall short, nobody's harder than yourself on you. You're like your hardest critic. And that's something I had to learn. So that's why sometimes I just, I'll do a thing where sometimes I'll try to be eating a certain way, but then once in a while I'm like, you know what, let's just eat pizza. Like, let's just do it. Like,
Yeah.
because why not? We're here to experience things. And why am I going to be hard on myself? If I'm going to go out and like eat pizza, or if I'm going to do something I'm not supposed to do or whatever, I'm going to enjoy it and enjoy it fully instead of beating myself up over it. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. These days I'm just like, I am an eternal being.
Yeah.
What can harm me? Nothing can harm
Yeah.
me. So, you know, God bless it.
I do
Whatever it
my
is I
best.
eat, get whatever gets on my body or touches my skin, you know what? I'm doing my best. And sometimes,
Mhm.
hey, yeah, have that pizza. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to eat it. It's going to taste good. I'm going to enjoy this life.
Yeah, I had a very, very strong ascetic 2 years when I was in my Raja yoga path, and I was not fun to be around. And I had a condo on the ocean in Florida where I didn't have to turn the AC on for 2 years because it had a southeast exposure. So I had the front
Mm,
door open and I had the back sliding glass open. So I always had the
beautiful.
breeze moving through, and I was on the fifth story. I would ride my bike to my yoga classes, and then I would drive in to my massage clients. And I did 2 sessions a day of yoga, and I was probably the cleanest I'd ever been. I did all my parasite cleansing, and then I did a kachiri for a month, which is an Ayurvedic balancing treatment where I ate mung dal 3 times a day. And mung dal is like one of the worst tasting things in the world, but it's very
Beans.
bland.
Are
Yeah,
they beans?
it's like porridge. It's like a
Mm.
bean porridge, but it's horrible. And all of my conditioning around needing salt and sugar and all that stuff, like all the addictions to caffeine, all of it just came up. And by week 2 of the Mung Dal, I was clean. And then with all the exercise I was doing, all the fresh air I was breathing, I was like, hmm. But I noticed in the
Oh,
setting of South Florida in like 2000, 2001, nobody, I couldn't be around anyone. Like
you can
nobody,
go to that organic restaurant that serves local food, farm to table.
no, it wasn't that. It was like literally like there was a relativity thing. It's all because
Okay.
frequency is location. This is before I ever got into physics. Because I always back into what I end up getting into. This was like I was Mr. Raja Yogi. I was trying to develop, siddhis, which are powers,
Mm-hmm.
and I was around people that had extra capabilities, and I wanted to get to their level. And I was just, I took my professional athlete, piss and vinegar, and I just threw it into Raja Yoga, and it was working. But the problem was I was like, actually like people. And I noticed like I wasn't relative to people. And it wasn't just that I wasn't relative to people with bad habits. Like literally no one in South Florida, save like one or two people, I could actually have consistent correspondence with when I was at that vibration. It was so evident. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I
Mm.
started to pollute my system again. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I could see it on multiple levels. I was like, you know, like it's the Chiron thing. The Chiron is the wounded healer archetype. Like whatever you're wounded from, you learn from it, and then you can teach others about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like in my life, I've been wounded and hurt and done so many different things in so many different ways that I'm very accessible to talk to because I can almost relate to anybody.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's a
I do.
fun thing, right? And so because now my model of existence is more inclusive, it's just like who like I understand like having a clean body allows for a clean mind, and there's a certain navigation that can occur with that. I totally am not poo-pooing that at all. And there's also buffering is not all that bad. Like I look at every negative habit, like let's just say negative physical habit, as actually being very appropriate given the surroundings. After massaging people and looking at people's, celestics, like actually looking at their luminaries, it's so obvious why you buffer. Like eating a bunch of pizza numbs you to a certain extent that allows you to be in specific environments or allows you to be around certain people. Like I've noticed in my life, if I'm traveling somewhere immediately, like especially if I'm about to travel to like Central America, like the day before I travel to Central America, somehow, some way I'll be hearing Spanish being spoken. Where for like a month I won't hear Spanish at all. But then in my
It's a
environment,
transition.
it's the transition. And so it's so obvious because if God wants something to happen, it's going to happen.
Mhm.
There are these buffers that are put there. And if you know how to read the buffers and read the tacos, like you can surf, you can navigate and be like, you can kind of have like a quasi precognition to what's about to happen.
Mm. Yeah. And it's also, I think it's about balance too and non-attachment too. You know, yeah, I could have that pizza, but it doesn't mean I have to have pizza all the time, every day, every night, you know?
Because it's wrong
Yeah.
identification. The truth of the matter is that the person that has to have the pizza all the time, they're identified with the pizza eater.
And
In
somebody
truth,
who's not eating pizza all the time and they're telling everybody, I'm gluten free and I'm not eating pizza, that's who they're identifying with, right? They're the non pizza eater.
dude, I have massaged more fucking Instagram diet people than you could shake a stick at. Living in Costa Rica as long as I did, dude, everybody had a retreat down there. Everybody would have their shtick. And it'd just be like within 15, 20 minutes of massaging these people, it was just like, they're a fucking wreck.
Yeah.
They're a wreck. Shut up.
Attachments, attachments.
You're you're a 26-year-old person. You're not allowed to be a life coach.
Exactly.
Like go away. Like you could literally do
Grow up.
anything. You can do anything and your body's gonna look great because
Yes.
your age. Shut up.